Welcome to Up to the Minute. It is Monday, May the 18th, 2020. I'm Todd Duplantis. Thanks for being here. We've got your HCC news and information over the next half hour. Thanks for joining us on this Monday. My co-host, Britney Pacheco, joining us from her home. Good morning, Britney.
Good morning, Todd, and good morning to everyone joining us on Facebook Live. We appreciate you being here with us this morning. Be sure to like our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram pages because we've got some great stuff going on all over our social media pages, including graduation. We'll talk a little bit more about that and a very special hashtag in correlation with graduation. And also don't forget to head over to our YouTube channel where we've got thousands of videos at your disposal, all produced by our very own HCCTV. Make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, and you'll be one of the first to find out the latest from HCC.
Well, thanks, Brittany. We're going to have more from you in a few moments, and it is a big week for us, graduation week. We're all very excited about it. We've got a virtual ceremony happening on Friday, actually two virtual ceremonies, one for the Vast Academy and one for HCC. We'll talk more about that in a little while, but we've also got some special guests right now talking about some efforts from the foundation, efforts to help our students. We've got Antrece Baggett, and you are from the HCC Foundation. You're the board faculty representative. You're also associate chair at History Department and instructor of the Africana, African American, as well as Women and Gender Studies. Thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Antrece, we're going to get more with you in a few moments, but first I want to introduce you to Jamyra McAfee. And Jamyra is one of our students here at HCC, but I believe not for much longer. We'll talk more about that in a second. But she also is a recipient from the HCC Foundation Emergency Fund Relief. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thanks for being here. Off the top, just a special week for you. Are you going to be graduating pretty soon?
Yes, I graduate on Friday.
That is great. Are you taking part in the virtual ceremony?
Yes.
Well, we look forward to it, and congratulations on this great time of your life. I want to talk about telling your story, and I know some people may have had a chance to read about your story, but you had a run of bad luck before COVID hit, having trouble with your HCC studies, and then COVID hit and you really fell on some hard times. Tell us a little bit about what happened before the whole COVID situation, and what happened to you, Jamyra?
Me and my friend actually went to celebrate my last semester in school after I registered. And when we came outside, someone had broken into her car and stolen my laptop, her purse, and a bunch of other things. So all of my classes this semester were online, so I didn't know what I was going to do.
And I know, being from a person who lives my life on their phone, that all of your personal information in my laptop as well, this had to be heartbreaking, not only to lose your personal belongings, to have something stolen that you really can't afford to replace, but you had probably had everything on that laptop that you'd done and what you were going to use for the next semester.
Yes, I had everything on the laptop, from my children's pictures to different links, different notes, different anything that had to do with HCC, all my passwords, everything.
That's terrible when something like that happens. Now, what happened next? Maybe you can tell us, this was the beginning of the semester. Did you get a replacement laptop before the spring break? What happened?
No, I actually was using one of my friend's laptops because she was able to do her work while she was at work before the COVID situation happened. But once COVID happened, she was no longer able to go to work, so she needed her laptop back. So when spring break hit and they said that we weren't going back to school for me to be able to use the school computers, I didn't know what I was going to do.
And then what happened? Did you reach out to the foundation? How did you find out about the emergency funds that were available to you?
Actually, Professor Baggett sent a mass email out to all of her students. And I normally don't check my HCC email, but that day I decided, well, let me just go look and see what's going on in here. And I saw it, I applied for it, and about 3 days later, I found out that I had been approved and that the funds are going to be sent out.
That's incredible. It's so enlightening to hear these type of things, because we talk about the funding. We promoted it all throughout this COVID crisis, and before we had guests in our studio at HCCTV to promote what was going on with the funding, but actually hearing from students where it really helped, that means a lot to us, and it really shows people that it works with the fundings available. Now, just to clarify, these funds aren't a loan. These were funds that was given to you more or less like a scholarship.
Yes.
And tell me now, you're about to wrap up your college career at HCC. What have you been studying? What are you planning to do next?
I will be receiving my associates in multidisciplinary arts, and I will be going to Prairie View A&M University in the fall to get my bachelor's in criminal justice with a specialization in juvenile studies.
That's incredible. And I understand there's a little inspiration for you for wanting to go into a study in criminal justice.
Yes. I had an uncle that was wrongfully accused of rape back in 1988, which was actually a year before I was even born. And I grew up in South Park in Houston. So I've seen a lot of my friends that I know were, brilliant people, but they just didn't have anybody to care about them. And once they got into the system, they didn't really have anybody as far as parole or probation officers that actually wanted to see them rehabilitated. So when I went to work at the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, I saw that there are a lot of brilliant minds in the prison system. It's just that I feel like if they would have been steered in the right direction as a juvenile and given different opportunities and different options as to what they could do, I feel like things would have turned out different for them.
Jamira, your life's going to continue changing. You're going to be going to Texas or Prairie View A&M. Tell us, are you going to be commuting there? Are you going to be living there? What classes are you going to be taking? How long of days are you looking at now?
I won't be commuting. Fortunately, I'm not sure if it was because of COVID or what, but the entire juvenile justice program is now online.
Well, that's great. So you really can stay here in Houston and continue working while you're attending classes from Prairie View A&M.
Yes.
As you're going through this now and looking back at the challenges that you've gone through your life and getting to where you are now, do you have some words of inspiration? If you could talk to the other graduates that are going to be going through this virtual ceremony this week, what would you tell them?
No matter what happens or how hard life may seem, never give up. Because if I would have given up, I would have just become another statistic, and I would not be able to tell my daughters that they can do anything that they put their minds to. Because no matter what happened, I always had the goal that I was going to go back to school and I was going to get my degree. So even though it took me almost exactly 10 years since I started school at HCC to get my degree, it was hard. It was an arduous process, but at the end of the day, I did it so anybody can do it.
Well, Jamira, you are certainly an inspiration to us, and you are an example, a shining example of perseverance and a great example of our students. We appreciate you being here this morning.
Thank you for having me.
And I'm going to talk to Professor Baggett. Thank you for joining us, Antrece. Tell us exactly about Jamira's situation and how you found out about it.
So as Jamira stated, I sent out a mass email to all of our students. And if you remember, during spring break and the extended break and the week afterwards, Dr. Maldonado made a video, and in that video, it talked about how students could possibly receive funding if they needed it. And so literally, as she said, I sent out a mass email to all of my students in each one of my classes. And at the time, there was a little voice that said, you need to do this. But I was like, oh, well, I'm not even sure if anybody is going to click on the link. But I was doing what I felt was best to do for the students, right?
Right.
And so I sent the link out, and then the next thing I knew, Jamira called my office phone, which is, my Surface tablet now that we're working remotely. And we had this amazing conversation. And I was actually humbled and overwhelmed because I was like, oh my goodness, I just was doing something on a whim, and it helped students. And after I spoke with her, I spoke with Karen Smith at the foundation and Sydney Peters, and the ball just started rolling. And the next thing we knew, they were highlighting her story in the Houston Chronicle.
And I mentioned earlier at the top of the show that they may recognize you both, but you, Jamira, this story was featured in the Houston Chronicle not that long ago, correct?
Yes.
And that certainly launched, us picking this up and hearing about this. And we were so pleased to get you guys on the show to tell our faculty, staff, and our students the things we're doing for our students. Antrece, can you talk about the opportunities you're aware of for us to support our students at this time? And I know you're very active when it comes to student support. I'd like to hear about more ways that all of us can help.
So Mary Lawson and I are the HCC Board Foundation faculty liaisons. And each year I'm not sure how we're going to do it this year, but each year at Instructional Day, we get up and we say our little speech, our little pitch with the faculty and staff campaign. So as you know, Todd, all we have to do is give a minimum of $5 to $10 out of each paycheck, and those funds go to the foundation to help students with scholarships. Last year, we gave a little bit over 400 students scholarships to help them with their educational endeavors. Students can be American, they can be international students. As long as they are HCC students, then they qualify for these funds.
And you've been with, talk about your history with HCC, and if folks maybe recognize you, we did a video a couple of years ago. We were talking about this before we went on the air, and you were the star of the video. You were at the end of it. It was right during convocation, I believe 2 years ago. You remember that?
Yes, I do. So I literally have a long history with HCC. I thought about this last night, just before I dozed off and went to sleep. So back in the last millennium, maybe in the mid 80s, late 80s, I can't even remember now. I took a typing class. I was a student at Texas Southern University, and this is when everyone was typing. So I know I'm dating myself. So I went to Milby High School. I took a typing class, and then in 1995, I joined the faculty as an adjunct. 2000, I became full-time, and as we love to say, the rest is history. So
well, I remember those typing classes very well, because my senior year of high school, I took one of those typing classes that took a whole semester. Now your kids wake up and they pick it up on a cell phone, typing within a matter of hours.
Yeah.
We just wasted a semester there. That was.
I know we dated ourselves, but that's the history. That's my HCC history.
Now, you're also a faculty liaison who sits on the board of HCC Foundation. Tell us about your role on the board as a faculty liaison. What does that involve? And do you assist with identifying students as well?
I indirectly assist with identifying students in that I do the same types of things that I did with Jamira's class. I put the links out there. If a student approaches me that's having, difficulties, I'll, direct them to the foundation. But Mary and I, our main duties are to help generate funds through the faculty and staff campaign. And then we also have the Better Check Orman, which is those funds come through the foundation as well that serve for professional development for full-time and adjunct faculty.
Is there a last thing you'd like the folks watching at home to know about our students and our faculty?
Yes. And it's a simple question, but it's also a worthy response in that our students and our faculty, we're everyday people. We're dealing with COVID-19 like everyone else. As far as my faculty colleagues, we're content experts. We are you're going to if you decide, or if a student decides to come to HCC, they will have some of the best professors in the world. You know, we're content experts, we're compassionate, but then we're also very active in the community. Our students, like Jamira, are essential workers. They're on the front line. They're working hard. They're juggling their daily lives. They have families. We're just like everybody else. And really what I guess the best way to describe the faculty and staff at Houston Community College is that we are the most compassionate global citizens you will ever meet.
Well, we've got two great guests this morning with us, folks. Antrece Baggett, the HCC Foundation Board faculty representative. Thank you for being here this morning.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
And Jamyra McAfee. Jamyra, very inspirational story. We expect to see big things from you in the future, and congratulations on graduating in a few days. We can't say that enough to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. And, you know, another person who sings the praises of the foundation all the time, because she's a product of the foundation, our own Britney Pacheco joining us once again.
Oh, yes. I can't say enough kind things about the foundation, all the people who work for HCC Foundation, and all the donors, because I've said it once and I'll say it until I'm blue in the face. If it weren't for the likes of the HCC donors, it would be very difficult for people like me, for people like Jamira, and hundreds and thousands of others to be able to go to school. And it makes such a significant difference in our lives. And I'm just forever appreciative of the foundation and everyone who works behind the scenes and the donors.
We all are, and it's always good to have guests on for the foundation. Thank you both for being here this morning.
Thank you.
All right, Britney. So last week we were talking about COVID testing at HCC Southeast. It was supposed to be wrapped up, but they've extended the testing dates.
That's absolutely correct, Todd. One of our city councilmen, Robert Gallegos, actually tagged us in this, and due to popular demand, they have decided to extend the COVID-19 testing that was being held at our HCC Eastside campus. So if any of you are out there who didn't have that opportunity to go out to be tested, you still have all this week until Friday, May 22nd, to go and be tested. No appointment needed. This is completely free. Let me say that it is free and open to the public. So every day from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. or until they hit capacity, you have the opportunity to go and be tested for COVID-19. You do not need to show any symptoms. You do not need an appointment. Just simply show up at our HCC Eastside campus located at 6815 Rustic Street.
That's right, Britney, and we've been talking about it all throughout the show. It's been sprinkled throughout. Now we're going to talk graduation because the ceremonies are coming up on Friday. We've got two of them. One starts at 11 a.m., that's for VAST, and then following that later in the afternoon, Britney, one for the whole college.
Exactly. So commencement is an incredible accomplishment and festive time to be celebrated by all of our graduates and their loved ones. And while this is not our traditional way of holding commencement, we still are going to be live streaming it for both our VAST Academy graduates and our general degrees and certificates ceremony, which is our main commencement at 2 p.m. on Friday, May 22nd. So if you all are interested in participating and cheering on all of our graduates, you can head over to hccs.edu/graduation on Friday, May 22nd at 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. to watch our ceremonies. We also are celebrating our graduates all over our social media pages. If you use hashtag HCCgrad2020, your posts will populate onto a social media wall that can be found at that same graduation page that I mentioned earlier. So we want to see your pictures, we want to see your videos, how you're celebrating your graduation, and any congratulatory messages you want to send out to all of our HCC 2020 graduates. Again, be sure to use our hashtag HCCgrad2020. And here on Facebook, if you see our profile picture and our cover photo, we've got some very special made graphics for all of our students. You can change your profile frame to say that, hey, I'm an HCC grad and I'm proud, and show your support. And family and friends, we didn't leave you out too. You guys can change your profile frames to support all of our HCC grads.
That's right. Motivate our graduates as they begin this new chapter in their lives. It's certainly going to be a special day for a lot of people. And if you want to walk in another ceremony, we're keeping our fingers crossed. Come winter in December, you'll get a chance to walk. All graduates are eligible to actually walk in the physical ceremony in December for our winter graduation, or I should say fall graduation. Summer and fall registration are underway right now, folks. For summer registration, summer classes are all online, okay? We're gonna take the guessing out of the game for that one. They're all gonna be delivered online. You can register right now. Fall classes are still being worked out. We're hoping to be back in the buildings in some shape or form, but I can tell you the administration is working on that, and you'll hear about that first here. One thing or another, though, Brittany, classes are going to take place in the fall, and now is the time to register.
Absolutely, Todd. And I'd just like to mention that actually our summer mini session begins today.
Mini-mester, as you like to call it.
I love calling it the mini-mester. You're absolutely correct. So students who have already registered by going to hccs.edu/now, who signed up for the mini-mester, your classes begin today. And because it's 100% online, you guys need to be sure to log into your classes to see what your professor has to say, if you have a designated time that you need to be online for instruction. Just make sure you take care of all of that early. And, don't delay, okay? And for everyone else, yes, our summer and fall registration is open. Be sure to head over to hccs.edu/now to get the classes before they fill up. Regardless of the class method, I know some of you all are, more eager to get back into the classroom, but this is what we have available for you at this time. Take advantage of it. We do offer many support services, Todd, for our students. Did we lose Todd?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we had a few glitches on the matrix for a second there.
Well, I was just saying, Todd, that we have student resources available for all of our students and faculty and staff. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, so faculty and staff and students, you can go to hccs.edu/health-notice. And then I believe you'll also see the web address on the screen in the little frame here. And also hccs.edu/COVID-19 students. That is a website established for all information for just our students. So those two websites will get you what you need. And you can at any time check out the virtual lobby. Brittany, where can they find that?
Easy enough, Todd. You can just head over to our homepage, and either in the green banner at the top or one of the many I say many, but it's actually 4 blue buttons at the bottom of every HCC page, you can see something that says virtual lobby. Click that button and you'll be directed to our form, where if you have a very specific question that needs to be addressed to your case, we will have an HCC representative reach out to you as soon as possible. I do want to say to everyone, because this is registration time, we are experiencing a high volume of phone calls, emails, forms, what have you. So wait times are a little bit longer than usual, but that does not mean your question is not going to go unanswered. So just pack some patience, reach out to us if you do have any follow-up questions, and we'll be sure to direct you to the appropriate personnel.
That's right. Check out the homepage for the virtual lobby. Brittany, did you do anything over the weekend? Did you get a chance to get out at all?
It was a very quiet weekend, Todd. It did rain over here at some point over the weekend, but we did take the opportunity to take our little puppy Luna out for a play date where she got to go run around and have some fun with her friend Sleepy John.
Is that big dog?
It is not that big dog, that big Great dog. Dane. That's Everest.
No. Mount Everest, all right.
No. What about you?
I did. I got a chance to get out. We went out to eat on Saturday night. Folks were masked up, except for when they're eating food. But it was nice in the Heights. And decided to go for a run yesterday morning. And the one time of the day that it started raining was when I was running. So that's just life sometimes. So yeah, it did turn out beyond the little bits of rain, really be a nice, beautiful weekend. It looks like it's going to be a great week. A bit hot though, 95 degrees. And I was reading something earlier today, Brittany, talking about when it is that hot outside, 95 degrees can translate into 140 degrees on pavement, and then 150 degrees or above on asphalt. So that means be careful with the pups out there today.
Oh yeah, absolutely. She loves to walk in the grass anyway, so I'll let her roam through the grass as long as she doesn't get into anything questionable.
Yeah, unfortunately I learned that the hard way. Many years ago, I had a yellow lab, and I took him out when I used to go walking in the neighborhood, an old neighborhood I lived in, and we went walking for a while, and I hadn't walked in a while, and brought the dog. I'm doing, oh, you're doing so good. I get the poor thing home. He's got blisters on his pads.
Oh,
so it was terrible. I felt horrible about it, and then after that, I really be careful in taking those pets outside, because we just don't know. You're wearing shoes, but they're walking around barefoot more or less. And just because they have pads on doesn't mean they're, don't suffer from heat as well.
Yeah, always got to take care of those little fluffy friends of ours, and they come first. They really obviously come first. So
they do. And we did get out to get the dogs a haircut this weekend. So both of them have fresh new doos.
I know you showed us earlier about Peter Frampton and your other pup.
Yeah, they're strutting around the house. Peter Frampton, when he leaves the groomers, he always struts like a poodle. He thinks he's got it down.
Of course he does. He gets it from his dad.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's enough from Britney today. Thanks for joining us, Britney, today. Tomorrow we've got a great show. One of our own joins us. Who's going to be making a special appearance for the show tomorrow?
Oh, yeah. The one, the only, Todd Couples. That's an inside joke from a very, very long time ago when our good friend Frank Cooper was co-hosting this show Up to the Minute. And anyway, we'll let him explain that tomorrow morning.
Yeah. Frank is one of our social media team members. He's a social media guru. He's also a HCCTV videographer, and he makes interesting videos, shall we say. He's got some other personas. Well, he's going to be talking about a love letter he sent out as a video to the NBA, because Frank really misses basketball right now. And if you haven't seen his video on social media, you got to go to our YouTube channel and watch it. It's hilarious. I told him to send it to ESPN, but we'll talk about that tomorrow. Frank and all of his reports he's been doing, and get you up to date in social media. So that's it for today. I want to thank once again our guest, Jamyra. Once again, good luck with graduation, Jamyra.
Thank you.
And Antrece Baggett, thank you for being here and representing the faculty and the board. Thank you. And Britney, thanks again. And thank you for joining us on Up to the Minute. I'm Todd Duplantis. We'll see you tomorrow at 10 a.m.